Sorry, the third phase.
Are they considering the Lena?
Ooh.
Okay, something that's decent against the Shadow Shaman. And a Leshrac. Okay, just something, another lane, I don't want to say dominator, but very effective in the lane, especially against the Storm Spirit. It goes both ways, right? Lightning Storm, 4-second cooldown, Static Remnant, pretty similar. So both of them are going to get a lot of value out of going for that Magic Wand. Clockwork, one of the better heroes at rotating towards those runes, just to be able to win a lot of those battles. You're probably going to be level 3 at the time you do that, so 2 points Battery Assault is quite a lot. And you've got a way to interrupt this, Shadow Shaman jump as well without putting yourself on the front lines immediately. Like, if you're getting caught out as a Clockwork, you're probably doing something wrong, but I feel like they've got a very good player in Sweden Strong to be able to play it. If he does end up doing it. I mean, it could be solo as well. Don't hate it.
Okay. I don't either. That's quite a pick. Leshrac needs to be really mobile in fights. And that Rupture is really going to take that out of the equation. You have the threat of a double Rupture as well with Soulbind. So there's a lot of synergy here. Grim Inkswell pairing with Storm, and then Shaman Bloodseeker to pair with the Soulbind. So I really like this pick. It's going to be an answer to Leshrac in fights. It's a very unique kind of answer with your ultimate. And again, this is a hero that needs to be running into the middle. So could be very difficult here for no one to play this into the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you've just got an amazing lineup to run at people. The Storm Spirit, Grimstroke, great combination, Shadow Shaman follow-up, and Bloodseeker, of course. He's going to get the vision from the Thirst. He's going to be able to prevent the Leshrac from running at you, and then allow the rest of the team to rally up. And if you get the better jump in the team fight, they try and run away. Rupture just does a similar sort of thing, right? And it's not like they could just TP away either, because you've got plenty of lockdown. The real thing that I'm seeing lacking from CIS Rejects right now, a little bit of tower push, sure, but I feel like they've got good pick-off potential so that pushing is going to be easier, but it's really just that vision advantage. That's what I want to see come through from them. There's not much left over in the pool, so it's not like you're exactly wanting to go for a Night Stalker yourself. It's not a great Night Stalker game for CIS Rejects. They wouldn't put Miro on this Bloodseeker, would they? And just go for a Ramsey's Nature's Prophet again?
Well, look at it. They banned out Anti-Mage and the Faceless Void. So they are actually anticipating this to be a Miro Bloodseeker. What are we expecting from Navi? They don't have much reserve time with their 23rd pick, but what do they need to cover to kind of fix their flaws that they might have at the moment?
I was about to say they might need like a... I'm just trying to think about the Wraith King ban. Obviously, they've gotten rid of the Faceless Void as a result of that, but it leads me to believe that they're going to go for some sort of hero that does a lot of burst in one. But with the Faceless Void gone, there's not a ton of them available.
5 seconds remaining.
Couldn't Lifestealer, could they? It's not a bad Lifestealer game.
Rupture's a bit hard, and Instant Sun on Shaman.
Oh, sorry, on CIS Rejects,
okay,
not
okay.
on Navi. On Navi... I mean, they can't still Terrorblade, can they?
That's the one hero I'm looking at, but I think it's also very difficult into the first 3 heroes. But that's... You want a hero to stand your ground against Rupture, but maybe you are just expecting Leshrac to be Ruptured? Oh, I don't know.
Gotta be careful about the 4-staff Kite-Around when you're Ruptured, that's for sure.
This hero is very hit or miss. He's a strong laner. He's a very strong laner. So Clock Control is probably going to win that lane pretty handedly. Lesh should have a good time versus Storm. DK Coddle's not going to lose that lane, but this is not an easy troll game at all, and they don't even know about their carry matchup.
Choose your hero.
Okay, not bad against the Lesh, not bad against the Troll, right? It feels like if you're popping that Battle Trance too early, you can just get very easily kited around. If you wait too long, you're just going to get doomed and die. So it is going to be a Ramsey's Bloodseeker. Again, another one of these cores that force him to be a little bit more active. I actually was pretty impressed by his Faceless Void gameplay last time. He knew the line of when to farm and when to get active. It seemed like almost every single rotation he made resulted in a Chronosphere into a big objective.
I'm kind of worried about Navi's draft, honestly. I feel like they're going to have big issues with taking fights as an overwhelming amount of control in CIS Rejects, and I'm always a big fan when teams really get full utilization out of the Grimstroke. I think this is one of the best supports. You can enable heroes. We're speaking a lot about enabling, and you got Pugna, Coddle, Grimstroke now. They're probably top 3 to be able to do that. And you've got, look at all the synergy you have with Soulbind. You've got Doom last pick now, so double Doom threat, double Rupture, the Vortex,
double Shackles,
it's stupid.
Ether Shock.
It's really difficult, and this is not a free game for VTune at all. This is not a free game for no one at all. They have to snowball on Na'Vi. I feel like they are really going to struggle at taking fights, but maybe off the back of their early objectives, like I do think the big advantage for Na'Vi is their lanes. I think their lanes are going to be really strong. They can go for that. They're on Radiant, so Roche is going to be a little bit easier for them. Take early towers and try and really, really push the tempo, because Dire have a bit more of a greedy draft. This Doom does take a while to come online, especially if you're going to go down this Midas route, but I feel like it could be difficult,
especially going into a Troll Warlord, right? One of the best laners. If you're not getting a couple of kills or denying a lot of net worth away from the enemy offlaner, you're probably in for a bad time. He's got solo to assist him, though. You know, if you get those further stacks up with the Clockwork able to catch someone inside the cogs, it can be very effective. I'm a little worried, though, if I'm a Na'Vi fan. I feel like things could go quite poorly if they're not on the ball. I'm just thinking about some of these rotations, too, from the supports, because it feels like it is going to be a bit of a power rune battle as well. Always is, when you've got a Leshrac and a Storm Spirit to play around. And you would have to say it's probably Na'Vi that have the slight edge there. Of course, Keeper of the Light, able to shove lanes out and rotate with his fast movement speed. Same sort of thing with the Clockwork, you know, very, very fast hero. Wonder if they're going to end up running into each other as well. But again, the winner of this moves on to face Mind Games, with the winner of that series advancing through to the Stockholm Major in that 3rd spot. The loser goes home in that 5th, 6th position. No Major, no DPC points as well, I believe. And they're just going to have time to lick their wounds. So it's a lot to play for both teams.
We're going to put a pause to continue speaking your smartness. So again, for me, I think Na'Vi, lanes. Like that is really where I see this lineup clicking. Is that similar with you?
Yeah. Is it another 22-2 game, though? That's the question. I doubt it. You know, they've got the Storm Spirit this time. They've got the tools to be able to take the super early team fight before, for example, the Dragon Knight gets that Blink Dagger.
I think some cool things we could see is because the side lanes are pretty strong, we can see the rotations out from Na'Vi. Like Solo might consider wrapping on mid, and if you get behind the Storm Spirit, then no one can pump out all the damage you need. And if you kill Storm a couple times, then the jungle gets easier to invade. Like both game 1 and game 2, we saw Storm snowball. But when Storm plays from behind, then you don't have the playmaker, and you're not going to have that in the Doom. Again, we spoke about his going to take a little bit of time to come online. So if you can shut down Depressed Kid off these rotations, then maybe CIS Rejects would take some time, and then Na'Vi can get the early towers, and then all of a sudden maybe the Troll goes for a bit earlier for an item here. He's got the ring health already queued up, so maybe that's not the case. V-Tune feeling like... Also, he could go a different route. Like maybe V-Tune's like, okay, if I go Battle Fury and I get Lincolns and I have maybe someone else with Lincolns and they dish everything out on me, I can just carry this game. Maybe that's a route, because you can always consider that like Battle Fury gets you to that next item before the enemy team does.
Yeah, it feels very awkward. Like they would... I want to say they'd be a little lacking in damage, but it would rely so much then on no one on that Leshrac, right? You would have to be paired together with the Keeper of the Light and just constantly making successful plays. They did it in game 1, but it is certainly a big burden to put on your back. Something else that we mentioned, obviously, the Doom effective on multiple units, shackles, silences, whatever you want to talk about. But even just the Phantom's Embrace on a Troll Warlord can be really weird to deal with, right? Because most of the time, you're going to have a couple of further stacks up on somebody. If you want to change and start hitting the Phantom's Embrace, it really slows down your damage output as well, even if you weren't having all of your spells at your disposal.
This Grimstroke has way too much in the toolkit. You got a nuke, you got multiple nukes, you got wave clear, double, all the control. Silence, stun, and get Pierce. Team fight's really good. Can flex him a little bit. 5 or 4.
Akshard.
Scepter's very, very good versus some illusion heroes. Shard's good for initiation. Yeah, I don't know. This
Top
here is,
tier.
yeah, by far top tier. I'm always rambling on. I think this is one of the better supports. A big reason why we saw it banned out in last game in particular. First phase ban, and CIS Rejects, as soon as they saw it available, they're like, yep, Storm Grim, let's pick it up. But we're speaking a lot about the Grimstroke. I think Na'Vi, they have their own enabler. You've got a Coddle, you've got a Leshrac. We've spoken a lot about having heroes that really will dump mana out and love to refill that mana and go from there. And Leshrac is definitely one of them.
Absolutely. You just need to make sure you're still going, though, at the very end of it all. At around the 10-minute mark, he should be... You go a couple points in Lightning Storm, you go 1 or 2 points in the Split Earth, and then it's all about the Diabolic Edict after that stage. So 10 minutes is where I'm really expecting Na'Vi to look to get active.
FNG? If they get the stun on no one, he might be killed off, but not the case. FNG just able to get out of harm's way. With all this going on real quick, there was... I blocked up the small camp, and unfortunately for Radiant, they placed an Observer Ward right in that location. So double value out of this for CIS Rejects. Of course, someone kind of has to go there to get rid of the ward.
And if you win the lane on Depressed Kid, you oftentimes go and steal away the enemy small camp. Obviously, it's not there, but it'll give him the freedom to be able to walk into that direction.
It's not quite an easy lane for the Storm, though. I'd probably give a bit of an edge to the Lesh. I'd say 60-40. I think we've seen into this matchup, no one more than likely going to go like a 2-0-2 build, especially into a range hero. The Lightning Storm's really nice to harass and just be able to set up for your Split Earths, and you're not going to get value out of the Edict. Like, this is not a melee. He's not going to be on top of you, so I imagine just a 2-0-2 build from no one.
Yeah. I think Depressed Kid, his main strategy is just going to be continuously put pressure on this lane, shove it in, and look to rotate back and take the small camp, because you've got that tool. No one does it.
So I think for me to help unlock this mid lane is going to be off bottom for solo and how they can get these clockwork rotations. So, of course, we've spoken a lot about Vatoon on the Troll Warlord being an exceptional laner. But what do they really have to do to kind of put them in a position where solo can think about starting to make the rotations? How do they set up for that for the first kind of couple of minutes or so?
It's got to be rough, right? You're going up against this Grimstroke that's able to make a lot of these aggressive plays. You can see Solo trying to get in position to be able to get a lot of that harassment out. He's leaving the lane to be able to make a creep pull happen, which of course is important. Keep the lane shoved back so that when Batoon's trying to farm, he's not getting engaged on too much. But it's very important as well for Solo to himself get that level 2, because otherwise it's very easy to play around in the laning stage, the battery assault, right? It's certainly one of those abilities that peaks in value out in the field of battle rather than in the lane, because you can just run to a lane creep, right? And it feels so much more worthless.
So Solo going to start to get aggressive, but CIS Rejects have their own level 2, so it'll push Solo away. And we do see, of course, they're putting FNG bottom, so dodging the Shaman into the Clockwork lane matchup, it is always very awkward for the Shaman to play into that.
Always nice. That's going to be the key target that he's going on in the later stages of the game, right? Lock down the Shaman, prevent that Shackles from coming through. Of course, it means that Force Staff is certainly the item of choice for Roger. It's not even just the singular value, right? It's going to be great against the Troll Warlord. It's going to be great against the Leshrac from dodging out those sorts of Split Earth stuns as well. So 3 separate heroes that Force Staff is great against this game.
Lastly, with this top lane, players on the Dragonite, Ramses on the Bloodseeker, of course. Do you feel like this is just more of a passive lane? Is there any real kills that we might be expecting up top?
Potentially. It's more likely to be Roger, though, right? If he steps out of position, Dragon Tail into an Illuminate, certainly can take you down very quickly, but he's looking to try and avoid that as much as possible. Here we go. A little bit of aggression.
Well, they're actually going to try and stand their ground. Shackles in
Not
the
on a
Blood
DK.
Right. Yeah, no, this hero is goddamn tanky with the Bracer, and of course the 1 point in the Dragon's Blood. We've often seen the Bloodseeker paired with a nice stunning hero, but Shaman's got to put his body on the line to do so. Bottom lane, Mirror actually might be killed off. Solo playing around with the battery assault. The Toon's already used the abilities, but they're going to be back
nice
up
block.
shortly. But FNG, oh my, that is perfect to allow Mirror to get out.
Where's he going? They've even got the healing salve for Nero, allowing him to get straight on back into the lane after he ate the Ice Ogre Mage. There we go. Creep, so now he's a little bit more sustainable against some pretty significant right click coming out from Vatoon. Well, even the Clockwork early on, the right clicks do more than the battery assault, so You got to make sure that you're getting right on top of them, of course, to prevent them from getting away. But until level 3, those right clicks are at a premium for you.
This is definitely a lane where they can get kills bottom. I think Scorched Earth that has been buffed over time, and again, Grimstroke's a really strong laner. F&G's gone 2 points Inkswell, so... and it's not like they're reliant on their right clicks to get kills against the evasion slow from Vatoon, so... It's definitely, I think, more of the action pack lane we're going to get than the top side, but it's... As long as Doom actually trades even, I suppose, because this hero, yes, he's got some armor buffs, and of course the ice armor is going to help out a lot, but he can very much still struggle, and like we said, he's a hero that plays very greedy. If you lose your lane, then you're pretty much not having much impact for like 20 minutes, and maybe even a bit longer.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to look to see him get into the boots of speed, of course. He's got the Midas already queued up, phase boots after that. So it's just all about chasing down these squishier heroes, trying to get onto the clockwork and bully him away as much as possible.
Glorious.
This going on, no one has reconnected into the game and also has a free lane as he's shoved the Storm Spirit out. So at the moment, Depressed Kid back to jungling, but there's a bit of a net worth advantage, even though Depressed Kid sitting a bit ahead in regards to the last hit, so nicely done from no one early.
Well, we're just trying to keep the pressure up here. Using the battery assault. Puts it on quite a long cooldown, was to get rid of the clarity, and I suppose at least it forces out another use of the ice armor, but only 40 mana, so not too bad. But yeah, no one having another great laning stage. Already pushing out the storm, taking away both water runes. No support has been able to rotate mid just yet. Wonder if they will make one soon, though, because Solo, he'll be about to reach that level 3. A little bit extra damage. Of course, he's got the cogs, and I believe there's boots coming out very shortly for Leshrac as well. So once he gets up to that level 6, can look to start diving under the tower and using just purely his spell damage not to draw the aggro of it.
Yeah, they're going to have to go pretty shortly with that 6 coming up. But we could even see... like maybe the first smoke on NaVi, you just wrap around mid, try and get a aggressive ward to scout up the storm farming in the jungle. And then with nighttime, all of a sudden, Solo he can poke out, get the battery assault, Leshrac will be nearby, and they should probably have the burst to go through. So still, if you don't kill him in the lane, there's other ways to do so while he's back in the jungle.
Top side, Shadow Shaman's been caught out by a little bit of harassment, but...
oh, look at this, Depressed Kid. Exactly what we're speaking about. There's the ward, there's the kill. A first blood picked up from no one. That's perfect from Na'Vi. And now they're going to move bottom. F&G could be in trouble.
He picked up the energy booster, so Solo is able to just go straight back on into this team fight.
No one has the level 6, so F&G is going to be killed off. And this is scary. You feed the beast. We saw what no one did in game 1 off the Storm Spirit, and I mean, now you can enable him a little bit more. We've spoken about the Keeper of the Light, so giving him a good start is really not the game plan.
Look at down bottom. Like, what can Miro do here? He's not building up farm. If anything, he's just causing a double wave, which isn't bad necessarily. He's going to look to try and get a Devour off before he dies. All the creeps are telling him.
Oh, no. Oh, no one even tips Miro throughout the river, though. Depressed Kid's onto Sweet and Strong, so CIS rejects will hit the board in our game 3, but... look at Solo, he's just trying to get no one involved to try to get this kill, but it's like, nah, I'm wasting too much time. So Miro will deny himself to the tower, but Solo, he gets all the experience for this.
That's the rotation that you want to get out of a Clockwork. You can't just be sitting passive. Clockwork falls off massively towards the later stages of the game. So
lane, we got the battle, the support's rotating. Early Shackle's out, Solo's going to step in, but a lot of damage onto the Leshrac. Can they stick on top of no one? You bet they can. As they trade a 1-for-1 to Depressed Kid, he's still got some mana to play with. Tries to main go up and turn on Solo. Even Vatoon is TPing mid. But look at the wraparound. Ramses wants to get involved. The carries feeling the importance of this early skirmish.
Not just the skirmish, but the mid tower as well. You can see Vatoon there just trying to get the creeps off the tower. It's already taken a fair chunk of damage. And when you consider that this is not a Leshrac doing the damage, it's a Storm and all the creeps doing the damage.
This does free up some of the side lanes. Well, I say free up as Miro's going to be killed off from no one. No one is back in the board. Beautifully done. This tower's going to take a lot of damage as well. Edict on cooldown, but no one's actually just going to start to fall back and get his own farm in the jungle.
Grimstroke. He TP's down here. Doesn't have enough mana, but in theory, can use one of his million tools to be able to push out this creep wave very effectively with that Stroke of Fate.
Ramses has got treads. So I've seen a lot of the phase boots on the Bloodseeker. I'm actually intrigued now if Batoon went phase boots earlier in this series. I think he did, but
I think it might just be the fact of he wants earlier on. I know you get a lot of attack speed out of the Blood Rage, right? But just to be able to have those slightly faster right clicks, especially when you're going up against that consistent damage from a Leshrac, and you get the Aghanim Shard, it's going to return so much more HP to yourself.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's top
they have the Elder Dragon form on Lays. I really wouldn't hate Na'Vi looking to try and connect to top. Try and open up the map, get that tower, even just give a little bit more of the map to Lays so he can work towards the blink. But it's CIS rejects out of smoking, and perfect position from Sweden Strong. He's going to pop the smoke, and he'll be able to get out. Sweden Strong, he's okay, but yeah, like you said, they're actually onto Ramses solo, not able to catch up. So the Coddle's killed off, and now Roger can step in and turn it back around as Ramses has enough sustain to go through the Clockwork's damage early, and now they can connect to the mid-tier 1, so CIS rejects. It's nice past couple of sequences for them.
We're so close to solo killing him there on the Clockwork. The plus side is you do take the top side, so Batoon, he's not farming horribly, but probably would want to be a little bit ahead of the Doom relative to his current position. A big part of that is a result of the previous rotation he made back towards mid. Bot tower was left solo for a long time, and it still is. Miro, say that, as the Clockwork is the one making the rotation back here, but Solo doesn't need the last hits. All he really needs is this experience. He wants to get up onto that level 6 and be that counter initiation for the Storm Spirit when he eventually does make that rotation in.
Miro, the use of the Tornado pushing them closer to Depressed Kid. So unfortunately, he will not get towards the level 6 on Solo. As there you go, from mid to bottom they go, and now will be another tier 1 tower soon to be claimed.
Ash just had zero role in pushing any kind of towers, so no one going to look to try his best perhaps to do it on this mid lane. Not going to be the case though, with Roger acting as a bit of a guardian here.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Oh, the
They're
mid
connecting
tier 1
mid.
tower.
They're connecting for the rune. Long zipping from Depressed Kid is enabled thanks to the Ink Swell, and there's just nothing they can do. The chain control, there's no answers to it as CIS rejects. It was a slower start. We were speaking a lot about no one and the kills he was able to pick up, but now that's his second death in 10 minutes in.
Looking really good for the CIS rejects right now. You didn't have the greatest laning stage on the Storm Spirit against the Leshrac, but that was expected. You also didn't have the greatest laning stage for the Troll Warlord. You know, the Doom has overtaken him now by 300 net worth, and that is certainly not what you would come to expect out of this. You might not be topping the charts right now, but Doom certainly shouldn't be either.
Now you've got daytime as well, so for Radiant to get kills, it's very difficult. It's going to be off the back of Solo hookshotting in and then Leshrac just being the vicinity star. Before, if it was nighttime, they could maybe able... top lane? Laze is farming really aggressively, and they won't even be forced to use... Okay, Miro's going to drop the Doom just to secure the kill, so first one of the game, but that's a big one. Laze was trying to work towards the blink. He was getting relatively close to that, but slowing that down is really important. Solo hookshot. Who have they ran into? It's going to be F&G in the river. So with Sweden Strong's blast coming from downtown, they will get the kill and the tower as well. Nicely played from NaVi.
I'll take anything at this stage, right? Like, things haven't gone too well for them at the very beginning of the game. The thing is, though, you haven't really... Like, Sweden Strong is still having an alright game. You know, that's the real key difference here across the board. He's a full 1,500 or so ahead of the next closest person. He's about to have the Staff of Wizardry delivered out to himself, but he has to be very careful with where exactly he moves. Yeah, you see he modifies the trajectory of this courier just in case they had any deep wards, and turns out they did right in front of the Roche pit. So just trying to slow down that Doom, that greedy ass Doom, and well, at least until the Hand of Midas is back and available, looks like he's going to park himself in the trees.
Fortunately with the smoke on Na'Vi, getting nothing out of it. They do drop a couple of wards. I believe that the Corries were flying over the observers. It just expired, but that was enough for CIS rejects to the slither of information they needed. But look at them. All 3 cores, top 3 in the net worth. And importantly, though, Ramses, he's got this farming steroid now in the Maelstrom, so he's already up to one of the components of the BKB.
Great way to be joining in onto team fights as well. So it is certainly an active style that you can look to be playing. Already starting to build into, not sure if it's the BKB just yet, or just a Sanj. for Ramses?
It'll be BKB. I
Could
think
be a halberd against a troll. Not too bad.
that's pretty true. Halberds definitely would be nice this game against that matchup, but I feel like you're looking for a very, very big early game timing here for CIS Rejects, because NaVi, they're the ones that looking to make space. You see, again, they're posturing throughout the jungle. You also have this Blink Dagger on Lays, so it is go time for Radiant. We'll see how they can look to take fights. They can't really force fights, though. There's no objectives to make CIS Rejects come to the area, but maybe they can get Miro. It's very deep. Very, very deep, but no one with the damage on the Leshrac will kill him off before any rotations think about coming. So, nicely done. Blink reveal.
Also smoke immediately. Don't believe they're under any sort of vision there, so they're going to look at the drawing on the map. They're getting down towards the bottom side and trying to catch out this Storm Spirit. Depressed Kid, he's had too good of a start, 4-1 and 2. But they had to use... Actually, they didn't use the hookshot, my bad, previously. So that or DK just getting the blink in for the initial stun would be vital, especially if it's Ramses.
This is perfect. This is a perfect angle from NaVi. They run straight to the Bloodseeker, but they're converging on the area. A long zip in from Depressed Kid. They're going to try and target down no one at the moment.
It's got Roger.
Spot coming out shortly. No one will be protected though with the Eul Scepter, so they don't get the Lesh, but still Dire. Do they want to stick around? Roger's killed in the back line. Depressed Kid's able to at least find the first.
You can still go in, I think. You've got a Lesh pairing together with a Coddle. You've Elder Dragon form. I suppose it's about to run out, but Storm was bone dry on the mana. So they'll retreat for now, but not before dropping down two of those deep Observer wards that it's so synonymous of Eastern European Dota, right? Constantly wanting to invade the enemy team's jungle, punish a little bit of that extra greed that they might be going for.
If you're NaVi, I think you go straight back to top. You want to play around with your wards. I believe Dai instantly circled this area of the map, saying, like, they played here last. This is where more than likely wards are going to be. They didn't have time to set up wards down bottom. And yeah, I love this from NaVi. You got the DK and Lesh. You want to be pairing these two together.
Absolutely. And he's getting pretty good value out of that Blink Dagger, right? Instant kill onto the highest priority target. It's given time for Troll Warlord to get value out of the Battle Fury. So he's back up towards the top.
Yeah,
Nearly into the shard as well. What are we looking at?
Oh, no, Vatoon, his farm, he's done an exceptional job. It was like a 13, I think pre-14 minute Battle Fury timing, and looking very, very good for the Troll Warlord. I mean, he's now, keep in mind, he didn't show up to that last fight, and they got the kill on Ramses, so Bloodseeker wasn't farming, Troll was farming, and you see the result of that. They're not going to do Roche, are they? Are they going to do this? Okay, they're going for it. No one's got an Arcane. Look at that. What's the play? CIS Rejects. The lanes are in a very good spot from NaVi, so they don't even have a sense of this at all.
They'll know the general direction that rocket came from, but it's just way too fast. Very important to be able to take that one away from a Storm Spirit, especially when you've got a Shadow Shaman on the lineup. Such an effective tool to take that early Roshan.
Dire, without a doubt, can still fight. You love these BKBs. Depressed Kid is very close to his, just needing the gold for the recipe. And Bloodseeker also needing the recipe gold. And we can see what can happen. Though.
Top side. Siege creeps up. Lesh is here. I'm sure they want to hold off from using the Diabolic Edict. Never mind. They end up popping it. Can just go straight on back in, though. You've got the Aegis, you've got the regen rune. Doesn't seem like they want to just yet, though. A lot of emphasis being put onto this bottom tower, perhaps by Roger. It'll still take some time before he cleans it out fully, though.
I think the play for CIS Rejects, get these BKBs and smoke. Hope to push
bot in. You're going to lose a tier 2 tower, though.
Yeah, you can't fight without BKBs right now. So you're fine with giving up the tier 2 tower. Now you've got these items. Shove in bot, force NaVi to go back, defend this, and then take a fight by your wards.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like they still can make an attempt onto Vatoon in particular, right? Like, I still feel like Battle Trance is a pretty useless ability this game, right? Because you're going to get kited around. We've got... does he still have the Hurricane on Doom? No, not quite, but you could still just look to run around, get the Rupture onto him, end up bringing his HP down to 0, and there's not a crazy amount of lockdown, right? As long as you're avoiding lays, I feel like you're in a pretty good spot to still take out the Troll Warlord.
And it's NaVi with the net worth lead, 2,000 in our game 3. And you see the position they're in. They're even threatening to go high ground. Edict's already been used. They've got a catapult. They know Glyph is on cooldown.
The Dragonfly. Maybe just getting 1 or 2 right clicks into it, right? To get the burn off. They do have that BKB coming out for Ramses, though.
And it's also just important to force CIS rejects back now. Because this is just taking away the economy. They have a triangle that's... You got the minute mark coming up shortly. So all the camps are available for CIS rejects soon to be farming. But they may be forced to go back to base, and at least maybe they might not get a kill, maybe they won't be forced to defend, but at least having those rotations back takes them away from getting net worth out of the map, and that is a win for NaVi.
Sure, you can see Roger, he's just trying to push the tempo as much as possible. He sees that they've got such a strong push potential for this top side. He's going to stay down here for as long as he can.
See what the call is. G's underway. NaVi, do you poke this a little bit? Not going to catch. So they're going to back off.
Swinstrong might just blast the wave and then get on out.
Okay, NaVi actually smoked to bottom. Alright, they're in fighting shape now. Look at them starting to group up. Triple BKB timing. This is huge for CIS rejects. They could definitely take a fight into the ages.
The Storm here. We'll need to get the Devour off on Miro before they make any kind of aggressive move, but...
I see Vatoon. He's completely split. Now, they don't
Did they see
know
him?
about this.
Yeah.
He took the outpost.
Ah, true.
Top tower is under
Oh,
attack.
they're scanned as well, but Vatoon's reading this. No one was bottom with the smoke, so they're instantly trying to connect to Vatoon. And no one's defending top as well, so yeah, this is pretty obvious. Still going? Maybe if they drop a ward on the high gun, they can fight.
Don't have
She
any,
doesn't
though.
have one on the choke point. This is scary. Depressed Kid. Zips on the high ground. Tries to get the information. It's got a kite for turn to the west. Miro doesn't want to jump in with the Doom, but Lays now he's on top of the ulti. They got to
Doesn't
get
get the
rid
Doom
of him.
off.
He doesn't get the Doom off. And now Radiant by the tier 1 tower. They can rally around this. Look to turn it around, but Dire. The BKBs are just using this to retreat away, but Lays, his blinks up shortly. FNG. Nice position to TP up, but they have the hook shot to cancel that one. Oh no.
Really good priority given over to the Doom there. You didn't get great value out of the Soulbind, and they're able to turn that aggression right back around on top of you. That's the difference between having vision and not, right? If they have the Observer Ward up there, you probably take the better start to the team fight, and even though you're fighting into the Aegis, it's a really solid way to be able to come back and win.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just didn't see. It was definitely the spike that CIS rejects were looking for to fight into the Aegis, but Miro wasn't able to step in. He was aiming Vatoon on the left to try and drop the Doom, but couldn't see an opportunity for that ultimate. Dude, what is this with the early gems? It's 19 minutes in. Oh my, I love this. I'm going to say it every time, dude. This is crazy. Like, I watch Southeast Asia. They're getting gems at like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. No, 19 minutes. You just mentioned it. Like Vision, that last fight was so important. They didn't have it, so let's get a gem. You'd hate to lose. Okay, they're not going to, but Lays jumps in. If you can get rid of the Doom before his ultimate, a BKB, Miro threatening to turn it back around, now with the backline to press Kid, but he doesn't have the vision. They Doom the Aegis carrier out of all the targets. They're going to try and control no one, so at least the Leshrac won't have a way to protect the Clockwork. Solo killed off. They
Bottle's
can
still
stand
here,
their
though.
ground.
They could just chakra up the Leshrac again. Never mind, he does it to himself, but very easy to re-engage still on this Leshrac. Not going to choose to, though. Not getting the kill out of the use of that Doom. Could look to potentially transition into the mid lane. Have to be careful that you're not playing too far away from the rest of the team, though.
Minute left on Aegis. You do see how difficult it
Dragonfall
is to
back up.
jump. So on Lays, trying to get him to the middle with the Glimmer Cape, but Dire playing with their high ground. Be alright.
Underneath that vision as well. They see him.
I'm trying to... I really wonder what Vatoon's going to itemize this game. Because he's getting a lot of farm. Top of the net worth. He doesn't have a Lincoln's queued up. I'm intrigued if he's going to consider that because of the Doom, because of the Bloodseeker. But hold that thought. CIS rejects, they're smoking.
Smoking, but who are they going to find? They have an idea that Troll's farming on this top side. But again, lack of use of the battle trance means that he will have some survivability considering Doom was used previously.
Long way around. Vatoon, instant use of the BKB. Now Radiant starting to connect. Vatoon's going to be kited through the duration. Now to the backline lanes. Finds the Doom in the tree line, but it's a beautiful combo. They get the Soulbind. The Shackles is off, and now they've unlocked the lineup. And so jump into the Serpent Wards, and NaVi cannot stand their ground in man fight. A 2-for-2 trade, but it looks like the clockwork. Oh, wait, Depressed Kid? He's out of mana. He'll be fine a TP out. They don't get a lucky route. But there we go. You do see CIS Rejects. They have the team fight in the arsenal.
Is under attack.
They have the potential, and they look to smoke right after the Aegis was expired as well. So really nice timing coming through from them. That was without the Doom, let's remember.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Take a look at the fire back. I mean, that was a perfect jump from Lays, but we just see what can happen. You get this Soulbind off. There's just so many ways you can play with that. They even double Vortex both the heroes into the Serpent Wards. I don't know if you're going to get that in all the fights, but that one in particular was very nice synergy.
It's real high individual skill coming out from both teams here. What happened to the gem at the end of all of that? Was that still being
Depressed Kid.
held? Okay. I think F&G had it at the time, and then he must have given it over.
All right, well, Roshan potentially up in a minute 40. I still really like Dire's lineup as this game goes later and later. So the fact that they didn't get a crazy amount out of the first Roshan has to be a big victory for Dire.
Yeah, you just have to think about the scaling potential, right? As you get later and later on, people have massive HP pools. Infernal Blade does a lot. Doom just as strong from the start of the game until the end, especially, like you mentioned previously, they don't have any of those Lincoln Spheres queued up. We've got a Lotus, I believe, starting to be built by Sweden Strong. He's got a good amount of net worth for himself, but still, it's going to be some time until he picks it up.
Ah, they're going to
Another
smoke
smoke.
again. Smoke on smoke. All right.
Gotta make sure you're rotating in the general direction of Depressed Kid. Of course, he's got a couple of null talismans, so he can join the rest of his team very quickly.
This is not good. Smoke's going to pop, but they got the high ground for Toon. Instant BKB, but the Rupture's out. All the ultimates committed. They're going to try and chase down the Troll. Meanwhile, in the backline, they jump in. Soulbind once again, leashing two heroes together, and look at the combo. NaVi don't have the answers to this. Back-to-back team fights we see when F&G gets his ultimate out. It's proving to be an issue.
Depressed Kid nearly sniped the Troll Waller TPing away into the base as well. I thought they'd actually done a pretty good job there of being able to avoid a lot of the damage, right? Because Vatoon was able to get back onto the high ground. He tanked up the Doom. He tanked up the Rupture as well. And they just went into the meat grinder. That tiny little enclosed space means that you're always going to get that Soulbind link off.
Yeah, it's really starting to get to the stage. Like, you lose another team fight, the momentum will be completely on CIS Rejects' side. And it's not like they are... I was going to say it's not like they're too cooldown reliant. I mean, Soulbind maxed out is 50 seconds, of course. That's going to take quite some time. Doom's really the longest cooldown, 145. Oof. Solo. Watched about the creeps, and Depressed Kid gives him a tip for his effort, though.
He's actually going the Aghanim Shard on Doom. Don't see too many people go this early on.
Okay.
Wants to go back to the old days of level death in Dota 1.
Well, they're actually looking to take the fight, CIS Rejects. Coming outside the base, ultimate still on cooldown, so they're going to be cautious, but Miro jumps, an instant answer from Lays. Onto the Doom, it's Depressed Kid's targeting the backline, but he's going to be cautious. It's a big kill for NaVi to start. Now they can swarm the side of CIS Rejects, so they don't have the numbers to stand their ground as Roger. He's going to be chasing the tree line as NaVi. Beautiful. Oh, they're not done. Lays runs into Ramses. A BKB at the last second. Vatoon's going to try and play off the battle trance. Ramses turns it around. No way.
Solo!
He jumps in, hook shot, and now Depressed Kid. BKB last second. He's okay. He doesn't really have the mana, but what does Vatoon do? There is nothing he can do, as at least they get the kill on the Troll Waller, but in the end, a 4-for-1.
Tower multi-shot salvaging something out of that engagement. Does that mean they took a gem back as well? No, Storm's still holding on to that one. But you just see the big difference there with having the Soulbind and not. It had 5 seconds left on its cooldown on the Grimstroke.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Wanting to take a team fight into this jungle where at the time you weren't 100% certain of the vision that you had. It's always going to be a bit of a danger. They just dewarded at the end of that engagement, but Now things swing back in Navi's favor. 77% win priority. Kind of surprised it's that high, to be honest.
I think the big thing is, though, is Troll killed off means they can't take Roche.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a window, but now Dire have their ultimates. So they don't have any wards near the Roche pit, so they need to get themselves set up.
Dire's top
Make
tower
this not
is
obvious
under
as well.
attack.
Ramsey's going to come towards the top side, not immediately TP to the rest of the team. He needs to make sure that Navi feel this sense of security.
Oh, Radiant. Overwhelming vision,
Right under
by
vision.
the outpost. This is scary. Samira's going to play it safe. June's even looking to TP into the middle. They all want to connect for this fight with Roshan up. A pivotal moment in our game 3.
Solo?
Solo looking to start. You know what? To dump everything on the
Soulbind?
clockwork, but F&G
They got it off.
is able to get the Soulbind at least before he dies, so doubles ruptures out. Ramsey's got to charge into the middle. No one's killed off. Vatoon, though, has a free fight now that he doesn't have to worry about the rupture, but Depressed Kid zipping to the backline, but the buybacks, they have the outpost control, so Navi can go back in once again. Ramses is gone. They'll target Roger to the south. Another big kill for them to find, but they're not done just yet. It's Depressed Kid. Zip back in the middle of the wall. They're into the troll wall, and it's Miro gets the double stomp, and CIS rejects. They'll turn this one back around. Depressed Kid. What a zip into the middle, setting up for Miro. Buybacks galore, but a victory for Dire.
10 kills in a row now for Depressed Kid. It's beyond godlike, doing a crap ton of damage in that team fight. Just zipping around everywhere, being a menace. 6 buybacks coming through in a single engagement. Just puts even more emphasis on this next Roshan.
Without a doubt. Just saying that was a pivotal moment of that game 3, and we see what happens was you get the replay again. Vision. It's key. Lays gets the jump. Somehow F&G. If he didn't get that Soulbind off before he
Yep.
dies, who knows how that
That's the
fight would have
difference.
occurred.
There are a couple of people trying to focus him down, but all you need is 1 HP, and Depressed Kid, he's got the gem. Kind of surprised, like he's walked past this ward 3 separate times, and it's still there.
See, we brought it up that last fight, but whenever Troll is not ruptured, he will have a decent fight. Like, that rupture is the big item to deal with him, the big ability, I should say, to deal with him. Sweet and strong, perfect position to pop the smoke and just force out to safety. So it's really all eyes. You're mainly going for the rupture on the Soulbind target. You want the double effectiveness, but it would be beautiful if you can get the Lesh and Troll leashed together. That is just perfect case scenario for Dire.
Absolutely. I mean, with the Dragon Knight, it feels like he is getting locked down a little bit in these team fights. He's so close to going into that BKB, but
Dude,
they want to
this
take
ward.
advantage of the fact that this ward still gives them that vision. Got to make sure
Depressed
you're not running
Kid.
in front of Solo, though.
Oh, they're going to pop the smoke. Depressed Kid, how does he want to start the fight?
Oh.
Lays will jump, Cogs to push away, but Depressed Kid's finding our ready. They want to retreat. They will not stick around in the jungle. They know this is a lost engagement. But they're running onto the ward, so they see Sweet and Strong. They're going to see Vatoon next. They go on Storm. He's got a decent amount of mana to play with BKB as well, but maybe Roche is the better objective.
Sweet a prize to be able to claim that one there. Anytime you can
21
get that on
kills. Oh, look at
A
this.
piece. This is
Yeah.
how you want to end it.
This is indeed how you want to end this series. Navi or CIS rejects. I mean, it's such an even game. Minimal net worth lead apiece. It's all on this next Roshan to really open up the game for one side. Oh, okay. Ramsey's just got level 20, so that cast range on Rupture could be pretty nice.
Absolutely means you don't need to be right there in the center of the team fight. Did you just hear a Lincoln's, or am I...
Yeah, the Roche. Yeah.
Ah, yes, of course.
Now this is happening without Lays, but Solo has got hook shot. Is he going to
Rocket
go
flare.
for it?
He
Throwing pretty
knows.
fast. He's trying to get himself set up. He's got to go. No way, Solo. Does he get the Aegis?
Oh,
okay,
so
Ramsey
close.
just finds it. Oh, Solo, that was way too close.
You could see they were posturing around the entire pit, just trying to block off all different avenues for him to get there. That's a nice little item to be picked up. The spider legs, just buffing up the effect of your Lesh, your DK even further.
This is a really cool item from Miro. I love the kind of versatility that we're seeing from this player. Is kind of the young blood, but just feeling like the Doom, that's what he needs to get off. He's just going to go Aeon Disc, because he's a really important target. Him, honestly, everyone in Die is super important, but we've seen what can happen. If he gets a decent Doom off in fights, and it literally just cancels out one hero on NaVi.
Yeah. And damage, who needs it, right? You've got Depresskit, you've got this busted Storm Spirit who's doing a crap ton. You've got Ramses who, with that Roche kill, he might not have the Aegis, but he has the Aghanim Shard, so this tanky hero like the DK does melt pretty quickly.
Since when did Depresskit have Scepter?
A little while ago.
Okay, well, obviously, look at the gold he's got. Perseverance, 2k in the bank. I don't know how I missed this, but he's... What a game for Depresskit. 11, 1, and 8.
He's hungry. He has a lot to play for. He's not like a lot of these older veterans that have had their time in the sun. He really wants to place himself at that land stage.
Everyone's hungry, though. This is the first LAN with a crowd, and these players, they thrive off that energy that the crowd brings. You want to be able to go back there. Of course, even playing against the top tier opponents, a lot of these players wouldn't have had that opportunity. There's some new blood as well. You've got the likes of by Sea Castle, you got Boom, the likes of, that they haven't had the experience to play against. And
the privilege.
The privilege, TSM, everyone else. So it's just to be able to get onto that stage where you're versing other regions on a LAN. I mean, that is what everyone is striving for.
Yep. And you know, even if it doesn't work out too well for you with the format of the major, of course, they, I believe only 2 teams out of the 14 are eliminated before the playoff bracket now. So it means that you're going to get a lot of valuable information about the meta, about what other regions are looking to do. Yes, there's probably going to be a balance patch after the major, but just that extra little bit of understanding can lead you quite handily into the next tour. And take it to top.
Easy like that. Looks like the Aegis 2000 net worth lead, they've been able to grow with this. How long have they got left on it? About 2 minutes 10. Do we feel like Radiant are just going to look to kite the next couple of minutes here, or can they actually take some engagements?
I think they really want to have this basher on Ramses. So he's got it coming out to him now. He wants to make sure that this lane is pushed out so it's not too obvious when they go for any kind of smoke or ganking attempts. Any other big items set to come out shortly? You got the Lincoln Sphere on the Storm Spirit, so he's not worried about getting caught out anymore. Grimstroke very close to a Blink Dagger for himself. Doom still has the Aeon Disc, of course, ready to convert. So yeah, CIS, they're very happy to go forward now.
They don't really have any deep wards to unfortunately play around. So it's going to be a bit difficult for them to maybe make a play. They could connect with bottom. That's getting shoved out if they want to get a kill into an objective. But looks like the triangle's the play, the long wrap round. Maybe the direct route. Just brute force up the high ground, but Solo. Perfect position again from the Clockwork, and oh, they're not even going to jump, so that's even better. Solo, nice read of the game.
It's not like they have the greatest heroes on Navi's side to be able to invade the backlines, right? Like, it's really only the Dragon Knight, and it's quite a minimal stun. You know, by the time you're reacting, you're running in to try and get that split Earth off, you're going to have CIS rejects react, whether it be with a Storm zipping in, whether it be the Doom to be able to block your impact. So, I don't know, like, I was about to say the Clockwork could potentially look to go for the Shard himself for the jetpack, just to provide that extra vision, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to provide the same impact for NaVi as it would for CIS rejects.
Yeah, you see they have the couple of 4-stars, well, at least one actually. On to Roger. I feel like to have a good fight on NaVi, it's Solo at least getting one support. Of course, it would be best if Solo could get both the Shaman and the Grimstroke, just forcing them to maybe not have a free fight where they can survey, get the perfect spell casting off and go for that, because we've spoken a lot about how impactful those two supports from CIS Rejects are going to be in the team fights.
He's been doing a pretty good job of that so far. You know, even in the fight right outside the CIS Rejects base, he made sure to get the hook shot onto the Grimstroke. Didn't kill him, but he realized the bigger priority target was locking down the Shadow Shaman. Got the kill there and prevented his cause from getting jumped on.
Aegis has expired, so CIS Rejects looking to try and still play aggressively with the T2 tower, so Serpent Wards will be dropped, but NaVi, they want to fight.
Their map is dark right now, though, on NaVi. They can see barely anything, and well, just getting a further objective taken away, making it even more dangerous. They're going to look to try and catch them on the retreat here. They'll see the general position of the couriers coming through as well, so they know exactly where the entire lineup is. Maybe
I like
look
this
to
a
see the
lot.
first person that TP's back. Look to try and catch them out, but realistically, there's no reason for CIS rejects to leave this area. You know, you're the ones that space is getting pushed in by this 35-minute double catapult wave.
I like the attempt from Navi, because you know you can't move to your bottom outpost, because more than likely CIS rejects are already set up with multiple wards placed, so just anticipate them to move back, go to their triangle. Of course, Ancients often is where a carry will gravitate their attention to, so it's a nice attempt. At least you get a ward out, but eventually you'll be forced back. It is a double Cardi wave.
Just have a look at the Radiant Vision right now. So NaVi, they can only see Miro on the front lines. They still don't know that the rest of them are standing behind. So they'll get a tier 2 tower out of it. But it's just those little decisions playing around the nighttime fog of war.
Yeah, Solo is going to be killed off. The TPs are starting to come back. Is Solo going to be able to survive through the combo? Is surprisingly tanky. Okay. Solo doesn't die.
What a beast.
They're going to stick around. They have the ward in the base still, so they want to utilize this before it gets dewarded. Solo's coming out for it. Depressed Kid's going to jump before they get set up. Look at the Vortex onto 2. Oh, that's beautiful. Depressed Kid gets a connection. Another tier 3 tower is going to be pummeled down.
They know that they've got this warded as well. No one wants to move forward to be the one to claim it. They saw what just happened to Solo.
They're going to be forced to back up. Top's got to get shoved in. Mid has to get shoved in. Slight victory. CIS rejects continuing to find the net worth advantage. It's slowly growing for Dire, but I'm still very worried about the Troll Wallet. It feels like he just needs so many items to play this game.
Seeing if there's anything big set to come. You know, no one's kind of in two minds with what to do right now. He really wants that Lotus Orb. But he also wants that Kyron Sarge just to be able to dish out the return damage if they do get the jump.
This is big. They haven't D-ward on the high ground, so Navi gonna make their play. Lays eyes on the backline. They're gonna jump Ramses instead. Vatoon's locked onto his target. Beautifully done. A force to reposition. Ramses is out to the right. Now the Serpent Ward trap, but Depressed Kid locks them all into the higher ground. The Vortex onto 3, and they've got no answer. As Vatoon crumbles under the magic damage, they've lost no one as well. It is at the sacrifice of Miro, but my oh my, CIS rejects, they're just showing a fight like that into a choke point. They can take it.
Absolutely, just continuing to still get advantage out of this gem. They would have purchased it, what, 20 minutes ago at this stage? And Depressed Kid hasn't dropped it ever since. They also just get the Observer Ward on the high ground removed there that enabled that jump, so NaVi go right back to having a dark map.
Solo? And they're going to jump the clockwork again. We saw how tanky he was last time. They might have to put his body on the line to protect his captain, but Solo long shackles and without the cause to kind of also help out, Depressed Kid gets an easy kill and is able to reset beyond godlike for the Storm Spirit.
A little low on the mana. That's the only downside right now for Depressed Kid. Not able to continue the pressure forward, so they're using Ramses for it instead, popping the Lincoln Sphere onto him. All the assistance coming through from FNG, waiting right behind, ready to go.
Ramses has level 25 as well, so double rupture.
Okay.
He's gonna jump. Hookshot follow-up. It's a lot of damage at the start. Ramses no turns.
No cause though.
Now with all the life still, what are they doing to Ramses? You feed the beast. Oh no.
That lifesteal coming. Like, what an insane amount of attack speed, right? You've got the Mjolnir, you've got the Blood Rage, you've got the Kyron the Such and Yasha, and you've got that Aghanim Shard, right? So a DK gets ripped apart like it's nothing.
Now they're in prime position to take second Roche. 15,000 net worth lead. Second? Third Roche. What are we up to? Third Roche. Refresher
Third
shard.
Roche.
In this Roshan. So, I mean, Radiant, you've got Lays up in 50 seconds, but... Oh, I don't know. It's really getting to a position where it has to be almost the perfect fight for them to win.
The key difference for me is you've got to take out the supports. It just seems like that's the name of the game every single time. There's so much value that you're able to obtain out of the Inkswell even for the save.
Oh my.
This feels like a bit of an all-in play.
How do you get in without Solo? I don't know how. Yeah, you bought back, but Lays is now here. Roche is falling fast to the Pierce on the wards. Sweden's just going to YOLO it. Why
Delaying
not?
it a little bit, wanting Solo to be back,
They're onto Vatoon! Oh, they're onto Vatoon! No, no, no! The troll Can't even enter the fight.
Double
Now the
rupture.
Double rupture as well as CIS Rejects flexing their muscles through the team fights. Ramses though, Age is going to tick out Radiant. They're looking
Still
to come
ruptured.
back in. The buyback from Vatoon. A lot has been expended. Can they take the second round? Vatoon locking to Miro throughout the cogs. Depressed Kid slowly burning under Mana as well. No one's going to blink into the high cup, but he misses the stun. He's off the mark with the stun, and no one will be penalized. Vatoon brought back. That might just be it if they kill the troll. Protected for the glimmer for the moment, but they
got
have the
vision.
detection. They're homing onto the troll warlord. Another force is out, but he's just going to make it away onto the backline solo. He's trying to clean
Depressed
up.
Kid's
No
low.
one's back in as well. Shaman's killed off. Depressed Kid, can he escape? No
This
one
would be
chasing
huge.
down the Storm Spirit. It's a big kill to find. He gets the streak. Oh my NaVi, what was that?
Get the streak, they get the gem back, and they get an arcane rune on the bottom side of the map as well. Tons of levels given over to Navi's side. It costs them dearly. Of course, 3 buybacks being expended. Do they have any left remaining? I don't think they do. Yeah, everyone still doesn't have theirs available. And Ramses doesn't really need any other items. His buyback status is just refreshed now again. It's so scary to have to go up onto the high ground, but you almost have to test it out. Navi,
Going to.
they feel the nerves.
Oh, man, that's so many buybacks expended. What was just...
It was
just
Troll,
Miro.
Lesh, and Coddle for just Miro, I believe, yeah.
All of Radiant do not have buyback at this stage in the game, so again, they have to be perfect. Nothing short of it.
Bottom lane's pushing in, so Troll Warlord forced to go all the way back. He does reach his level 25, so Battle Trance Strong Dispels can be kind of nice, I suppose. Not going to stop the Doom, though.
I mean, you see he's going Lincoln, so... And now he's recognizing that he needs his time. Needs this item to be able to play Dota, play team fights. So the Lotus has not been enough from Sweden's Strong, and I mean, he's even going into a Lincoln's as well, so they're just looking to dump everything on the Troll and help him out in these fights.
Yeah. Troll, Lesh in particular, if you prevent the... it's the Rupture that you're more worried about, in my opinion. Like, you get your spells off to be able to start with the Lash Rack, you're fine. You might keep ticking on them, but that's all good. Rupture just prevents you from running at them with both of these other heroes. There's one Lincoln's.
Dude, what so... Okay, they're all going Lincolns. No one's almost got a Lincoln's.
Good.
Dude,
That's exactly what they need.
They can have 5 Lincolns. This is a crazy read from Navi. It's such a stretch, I suppose, but this almost reminds me of the EG comeback against Ehorn, where
Dagons.
they all went
TI6.
Dagons. Yeah, they just recognized they needed this one item. They all needed this one item. It's going to take quite some time, but see if they can get
It's
there.
close. He's only about 100 or so gold away, but the smoke is coming now from CIS Rejects. Look at the couriers just waiting at the secret shop as well, with multiple components finished up. No one's literally 10 gold away.
Yeah,
Don't want
Vatoon
to get
as well.
jumped.
Oh, they're both so close. There you go.
Got him.
Vatoon's got enough. What?
There's one. There's
There
2.
we go. 3 Lincolns and a Lotus. They're gonna smoke. They want to fight. They've got
No point in
very
holding
good
gold
vision.
now.
Miro, smoke's gonna pop. They want to jump. Lays a little bit hesitant to go on the Doom. They're gonna reset on Dire.
They've had a problem playing around their vision the whole time, and honestly, if CIS Rejects can run into them, that's probably a bonus, right? I mentioned how it's so hard for them to try and invade onto the back line. And, well, they'll see that this Observer Ward was dropped, so you need to make sure you're playing inside the cover of the trees. No one.
Scary. He'd love the
Is that a-
25. He'd love the 25 for his damage.
They don't have a ninja gear as well. Quite a few items, actually. Tier 4 available.
Miro does.
Miro. Sweden strong.
Who's he
Any
on?
kill's a good one.
Oh, he's on Sweden Strong. All right, they're just going to pop out the Doom. Radiant, do they look to jump? They're hesitant, so F&G's just going to pounce instead. Cogs will give them some breathing room to reset. But keep in mind,
rupture.
Radiant, they don't have buybacks. They have to commit or get out. You need to fight as a team, make a call, and they're not going to do so. No one's stuck inside the woods. Can he
Oh, the Trickster
escape,
escape.
though? Give him the Lincolns, give him the BKB. Die, they continue to hunt. Depressed Kid's in. They need to be able to protect him, but they can't do so. No one's out. Vatoon's trying to lock onto his target. Turns to Roger.
1v5.
4 down. No buybacks. Against the world is Vatoon, and they're even giving the high fives as they call it. GG, good luck as CIS Rejects. They'll get the revenge, and they will move on to the finals to face Mind Games.
Oh, man. What a come around. You know, they were able to put that past series behind them. CIS Rejects come out of this one, taking NaVi out, moving on to be able to play up against Mind Games for that last spot at the Stockholm Major. What a game. That's really the way that we wanted to end out the run for NaVi. Unfortunately, they're back to waiting for the next season.
Unfortunately for them, we saw it was a good run, of course, a new roster as well, the addition of Lays, the addition of Sweden Strong, but also CIS Rejects. It's a new lineup for them, and we see Miro, he's really performing at a high level. Been very impressed with him and just overall CIS Rejects. I mean, game one was tricky. We saw that very, very early call, and it was just...
His drop synergy was just so overwhelming by CIS Rejects, right? Like, Depressed Kid go at 17-2. Everything, it felt like, could get doubled up by the Soulbind. So, well, what a crazy performance, and some clutch moments coming at the very end too.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, this is now CIS Rejects, like you said, moving on to face Mind Games in the grand finals. Of course, it's still going to be a tricky opponent, but there's a lot of information on both these teams. Mind Games, this is going to be their third attempt, but they will at least have a break. They've been able to watch CIS Rejects and try and learn from them. See what they want to ban on the draft, see their playstyle as well.
And it was in that last team fight as well. If we eventually do get a replay of it, make sure you look out for it around that high ground. You can have all the Lincolns in the world, and yes, it'll stop a lot, but the Storm with the Aghanim Scepter means that he doesn't care about the Lincolns. He's going to be able to pull you in, and that's all they really needed to waste a lot of those Lincolns charges with something simple like the Ether Shock. So very nicely done by CIS Rejects.
And we do have a bracket to look at after, so we'll see how this one is all shaping up, as in the end it's going to be Mind Games CIS Rejects, of course, with that 2-1 victory, and Mind Games having the forfeit victory as well. So comes down to this, the last series on the line. It's looking like it's going to be a beautiful series as well to close out our 2-2 finals.
Really could be anyone's game. I'm sure CIS Rejects, they'll be riding on a high. I don't think we'll have time for an interview, of course. It's such a big series that CIS Rejects, they need to make sure they're preparing. You know, hopefully for their fans' sake, we'll be able to hear an interview from them later on, but it could very well be Mind Games there to burst the bubble in about half an hour's time. We really got to, with that intense Game 3, give them a chance to reset, relax, take a breather, and prep for the next series.
That's the main thing, you know, the breather, the prep, but also Mind Games, they've been doing the prep as well throughout the break. So we'll see if they come prepared, or if CIS Rejects can take 2 series in a row to move over to Sweden and take that 3rd slot. But that is going to be it for us tonight. We will, of course, have our next series coming up shortly. That's going to be Lyrical and Trent casting that one. So we'll see you guys after the break.